Yeah, so I mean, I have a lot of memorable moments in the studio working on Final Moments of Forever, my new project. Being able to work with Buck Wild from Digging in the Crates, and even Diamond D even came through when we were in there, and he played a bunch of beats, and me and him are definitely gonna work on something at some point. For me, Buck Wild, because it got linked up so crazy now with social media, I think I posted like a preview video out, and I think Greg Sheet might have reposted it, and then Buck Wild saw it, and then followed me, and then we went back and forth. I flew up to New York. I was just doing a trip up there anyways, and then we met. He played a bunch of beats, and not too long after that, I think it might have been even like a week after that, he flew down to Atlanta once I'd already gotten back, and we just sat in the studio and just started working. And it was crazy because, I mean, if you don't know, like if anybody watching this doesn't know, Buck Wild, his discography is crazy. He's worked with everybody. I mean, think of like the most legendary rappers you can think of. He's worked with them. You know, Pac, Big Pun, Biggie, Fat Joe. It's almost ridiculous for me to even list people because he's worked with them. That Digging in the Crates is legendary, you know. Some of your favorite songs were produced by these guys. And so for him to come in and really vibe out with what I was doing, it was crazy. I remember I was actually in the booth, so I didn't hear him say this, but my brother Ethan was sitting in the studio, and I recorded this part. I think it was the second verse on Save My Soul, actually, because I'd written the verse, and I went into it and I rapped it regular. Like I rapped it straight through, and I was like, wait, let me try something. I went in and I did this thing where I changed my voice 4 different times during the verse. It was like at first like da-da-da, and then I came in real aggressive with it, and then I went back down a little bit. And I think he was on the phone or something outside the studio, outside the booth. He walked in after I had like recorded almost like 3/4 of that verse, and he recorded it and like he was like bobbing his head, and then he looks at E and he goes, he's so fucking good. And like for him to say that, it was like, damn, like he thinks that about me. Like that blew my mind. And there were a couple different times where he took something I did and he said, Big Pun used to do that. And I was like, what? You know, and then there was one time when I was like, we were about to save the song that I just recorded. And he's like, the guy goes, the engineer we were working with goes, what's the name of the song? And I go, what did I say in the hook? And it's like, Save My Soul. Yeah, Save My Soul. And he was like, that's funny, man. Pac used to do that. He said, Tupac used to do that. I said, what's the hook? Whatever, throw it in there. And it was like, but just for him to like compare me in the same sentences, these guys, I mean, I don't have to say who they are. That was crazy to me, you know? So Buck Wild, God bless you for even messing with me, man. That shit was crazy, yeah. Creatively, I think that, you know, you catch a flavor from everybody you work with. Everybody I've worked with, you catch a different flavor, you catch a new inspiration. Well, I picked up a lot of things from Buck Wild in the studio, but definitely his view on style biting was a big thing that I took away from it with rocking with him, yeah. He was like, yo, everybody just lets style biting like be a thing now. Like, you know, it was like everybody just biting each other's styles and like no one cares. And it's like to talk about the integrity of like just doing your own thing. You know, it's cool to have influences, but to just straight up jack somebody's whole vibe, we were saying that's wild. Like you would never get away with that in the 90s or the early 2000s. Like you'd be crucified for that, you know, in the hip hop world. And so for me, that was a big thing. But honestly, even more than the creative aspect, he just gave me so much game. Like he just gave me so much, just so much wisdom on life in general. And I think those are the best artists and best producers and the best people in the industry that I've met, is the people that have been able to give me life lessons. Because at the end of the day, it's, you know, it's the music business and it's your life and it's a lifestyle, and the music is important. But if you aren't good with yourself and if you aren't good with people around you and where you're going and where you're headed, then music don't matter, because it's not gonna even be an opportunity to put it out there. So he gave me a lot of wisdom on just, you know, how he carries himself and how he's been able to have as long of a run as he's had. You know, he's still getting placements on major albums, and he's been in the game for forever, since the game was even like relevant, you know? And so that's big for me, you know, for him to be able to take me under his wing and show me a lot of stuff like that, yeah. He kind of confirmed something that I already thought, is that, you know, if this isn't really truly like your passion, if it's not you're not putting every single ounce of blood, sweat, and tears you have into this, then there's really no reason to do it. And I don't think that necessarily means you have to, be in the studio every second of your life, be working every second of your life, but just live your life passionately, and Buck Wild is the kind of guy that he's super connected with everything, even the universe and life and God. And so for me, it's like, live your life. Your music is your life. Your life is your music. And so just live your life with love and passion, and it's gonna reflect, and people are gonna connect with that, and with honesty, and that was a big thing that I took away from him, yeah. Some of my musical influences growing up, my grandfather, who I actually never got to meet, he was a really talented, really successful saxophone player in New York City in like the 60s and the 70s. I feel a lot of that blood running through my veins. And so I used to listen to a lot of jazz when I was growing up. And I used to just love listening, even before I started making music, I just used to love listening to all different types of genres of music. I think really the things that really got me excited in hip hop were guys like Ludacris, Outkast, T.I., Dipset, Busta Rhymes, Jay-Z, Nas. There was something connected to me between the Atlanta rappers and the New York rappers. I liked a lot of the West Coast guys, but I think that my mindset, it was more influenced by the guys in New York and in Atlanta. And I think a lot of that, I say it time and time again, but a lot of it has to do with the fact that, my parents are from New York and my family's from New York. And obviously being born and raised in Atlanta, Georgia, there's a certain thing that you can't capture anywhere else in the country. And I think other cities try to do it, but you can't make Atlanta music unless you're from Atlanta, because there's something about the city that, it's really genuine, and it's got that real deep, sold out feel. Even in the stuff now, it's like there's something about it that you just feel it. You can't even explain it, you just feel it. And so listening to that stuff growing up, listening to jazz, even listening to like Southern rock, like not country, but like the folk music. I used to just love listening to that stuff. There was something about it. I think it goes back to just the honesty and the feeling in the music. I never really liked pop music. I never really liked real like lighthearted stuff. I liked heavy stuff that hits you. And so for me today, one of my favorite artists to listen to just while I'm driving or I'm just chilling is Miles Davis. So, and I think nowadays I don't even really listen to a lot of hip hop because I kind of just listen to my own stuff and I want to stay in my own bubble. And I think as an artist, you got to know what's going on, but staying inside of my own bubble, I think has allowed me to kind of focus in on what I want to do.
We have to learn the system. It's a game. And unfortunately, we have to play that game. And we got to play that game the best if we want things to actually happen. That's why you had niggas like Obama sitting up endorsing Hillary Clinton so hard, because we were supposed to fight for our country, and we didn't. So now I'm like, we got to figure out what you really want to fight for in life.
But yeah, just growing up in Connecticut as it is, just was super. It just made you want to create and want to do interesting things, because there wasn't that much interesting things. Like it has a bunch of beautiful aspects, but nothing too like exciting or anything like LA. So when I finally got to LA, it's like, this shit's crazy now. Yeah.
Does it really matter if people hate you? I mean, my mom hates Bob Dylan, that's enough said. I don't understand that. I don't understand how anyone could hate Bob Dylan, but some people don't. Ritz hates the Rolling Stones. How do you hate the Rolling Stones?
Ever since I was young, I've always been super comfortable expressing myself. Through my hair, through my clothes, through songs, all of that. I used to sing, as long as I can remember. I used to sing in middle school. I used to get picked fun